Go.
Yeah, so you've seen Barbie, so yeah, I'm imagining you in the field just shouting beach,
Like
uh,
that was a
telling people you're going to beach them.
I was Ken just talking about beach and sand. That was such a good one though. He doesn't bodyguard, he doesn't
Yeah,
serve beach.
not qualified for that. I just beach. I really like that, and I think it sums up. Um, the whole kind of like influencer Instagram thing of
Yes.
I just influence. I don't do anything. I influence. It's like,
Oh, that's so good.
it's about the same. Yeah. So I'm trying to work it in wherever I can, but like just kind of go, oh yeah, I just beach. But it turns out not a lot of people have seen Barbie yet, or at least not the people that I've been talking to. So yeah, it's not
That
landing
I
somewhere.
went to the first weekend. I actually borrowed my niece and nephew. I had no issue going on my own. I actually just thought that the niece might like it, and then the nephew came along as well. I was like, cool, yeah, the more the merrier. Didn't think that such a pink, not to stereotype, but I just didn't think that such a pink advert would appeal to him at the age that he's at. I thought he'd be put off by that. And there's the cameo. Um, I don't imagine there's going to be much spoilers in this when John Cena pops up. And then I'm looking
Yeah.
at my niece and he's looking at me. He's like, that's John Cena. I'm like, I thought you'd recognize him. Really made me giggle. It was very good.
So it's a good, really good film. I really enjoyed it.
I
It's,
think I was the loudest laughing in the entire screen. The women next to me were giggling because I was giggling. And giggling is a very understated word. I was howling. It was so funny. It was things like Depression Barbie, and the way that they described it was just not really anything other than just like my daily life. Maybe not something
right.
on Instagram, but yoga pants or it just sounds comfy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there were quite a lot of people in the cinema who looked like Depression Barbie when we were watching it, to be fair. But
And
maybe
it's
again,
post
maybe.
comfy Barbie now. Well, that's the start to that interview. So we're not cutting this bit out because I've decided that banter is more important than anything else in these interviews that I do. Welcome to another episode of absolutely random stuff that we talk about. This week's topical conversation is Barbie. Last week was 2 weeks ago was AI. Um,
Yeah,
we had to
basically the
talk about
same thing, really.
yeah, why not? Barbie AI. I saw post on LinkedIn that I didn't click on yet this morning that made me want to click it, but then I got distracted. Oppenheimer being linked with raising questions about AI. I'm sure it's clickbait, but I will probably go back to it. I haven't seen it yet, but I imagine they're making the link of oh, AI is going to destroy the world or something.
I guess so. I mean, as much I love LinkedIn, but pretty much anything on LinkedIn at the minute is being linked to AI. It's oh, I had a coffee and a croissant this morning, which made me think about the implication. Did it make you think about the implications of AI? I'm not sure. So it's
I'm on
probably
bandwagon for marketing. Yeah.
probably be something like that. Um,
While we're at it, Rich, do you want a cheat sheet for ChatGPT? We haven't made one, but we can make one if you want. I'll send it to you.
I mean, to be fair, the few times I open Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days, my feed, even people I don't follow, they're just in my feed, and it's all about ChatGPT prompts and the 27 killer new AI apps that have been launched in the last 4 minutes. And yeah, I mean, I think,
I'm a big, big fan. I use it all the time. I'm a big fan of anything to do with AI. That's not my issue at all. It's
yep,
the wagon nonsense. It's the
yeah. And
constant sound bites of something that's topical because you think that you're going to get top of people's feed or something, and it's just never ending.
I'm pretty sure if you looked, there would probably be quite a lot of the people who were GDPR experts a few years ago, and then they were uh, Bitcoin and crypto, and then NFTs, and now AI. I feel like it's just all pretty much the same people that are just jumping on it, getting some traffic, and it makes it really difficult for the people that are genuinely adding value and doing things. I think for the vast majority of people, how do you tell the difference between a kind of tech bro and someone who's really offering something? So I think once it all sort of dies down
Yeah.
in a little while, then we'll be able to see the real people. Because yeah, I'm the same as you. I'm a big fan of it, but it doesn't solve everything, and
Mm.
it isn't gonna replace computers, and it's not going to replace people. It does some things really well, and it's just helping everyone work out what are those things. But yeah, I think I think is it Gartner who or Forrester, I can't remember one of them. They do the kind of like the peak of something, and then it goes into the trough of disillusionment,
Mm.
and it's kind of like cycle for new
Mm.
products. And I think AI is kind of just at that peak, and it's just coming down into the trough of disillusionment where people realize that actually,
Still,
even if you've got Chat GPT, but you still have to do some work, and you still need to come up with things yourself, and it
yeah.
doesn't. And I think we're at that stage now, and I think we will be for the next couple of years probably.
You've ruined it for me. I was going to take the rest of the year off now. ChatGPT can do it all for me.
I
Also,
saw I saw a thing online yesterday where someone with ChatGPT 4, they said, "Oh, I want to play a game. I'm going to spell a word with emojis, and the first letter of the emoji is the first letter of the word." So they kind of, it was like ball, orange, apple, tangerine. The word is but, and it was like, "Can you have a go?"
mm,
And ChatGPT could not do it. It
mm,
tried like 30 times, and it kept it'd say like, "Oh, here are the emojis," and then the word would be not a real word, or the letters wouldn't be in the word, and it could not do it. It seems relatively simple.
mm,
I think that was quite a good example of something that any human can do, even a small child really, without thinking.
yeah,
The future of the world just fell apart. So it was a good example of like, it needs to stay in its lane
yeah,
and do what it does well. I mean, I used it. I was trying to do something in Excel, and it was like, oh, I could nearly make it work, but not quite. And then I asked ChatGPT, and it gave me what I needed, and then you could see like, oh yeah, I needed to put that bit there.
yeah,
Brilliant for that.
yeah.
But
I'd
yeah,
say many hours for things like that, where it's almost like a supercharged Google, where I can give it some instructions and then I don't have to work out how to find the right results myself and then sift through them and then basically do what I do for a living, right? Evaluate the results. Which one is better fit? But what I'm actually asking for, ChatGPT can and has helped me kind of, even without having access to real-time internet and all that sort of stuff, it's actually saved me hours in that way. But it's still, it's only as good as the information you put into it and if you know how to kind of get something out of it. So I do understand why there are all these, cheat sheets and all of that gumph is going about, but it also just clutters my feed. I wrote down the phrase you used, tech bro, because that really gave me the giggles. The last week's one was Sausage Fest, which I have heard before, but I haven't heard it in such a long time. And I really said to the man that mentioned it, I said, "Oh, I just really want to use that like completely out of context and over the weekend," but I didn't manage it, especially when I had to see Barbie. So no excuse there. We haven't done introductions yet, but also just before we, halfway through do the introductions, I sound like Darth Vader at the moment, and I've turned into a mouth breather because of a summer cold. So I'm going to try and do less talking than I normally do. Not doing very well with that at the moment, but that's just my life. Everyone knows who I am by now. I'm going to skip that bit today. The slide will cover what digital transformation is. So, who are you and what do you do?
I like that. It's got quite a like blind date style. So
You know what?
who are you and where'd you come from? That was it for Scylla, wasn't it?
Can't do the accent.
I mean, yeah, I mean, as a monk, I probably shouldn't try and do a Scouse accent, to be fair. But so yes, who am I? So I'm Rich Gibbons, and I am managing director of ITAM Review. So I've been around in the world of software for allegedly nearly 20 years. I refuse to accept that. I think it's actually about three, but yeah, apparently. So I've been, yeah, software licensing is my thing for some reason. And nowadays, you know, with ITAM Review, we focus on asset management, FinOps and cloud, and helping, you know, people make sense of it all. Really, I think that's kind of throughout my career. It's always been just trying to help people understand a thing so that they can use that information. You know, sort of, you know, I do the dirty work so they don't have to almost. So yeah, I think that's probably sums up without going into, you know, a 4 hour deep dive. That probably sums up roughly what I do. Um, One thing that everyone should know about me, but probably doesn't.
Like it.
Um, it's a good question. There's a couple. I think one of my favourite ones is so Gwen Stefani tweeted me once, which I quite enjoy. I went to see her in Toronto and just messaged her afterwards, just on Twitter, like, "Oh, at Gwen Stefani, blah blah blah," and she messaged me back. So I was quite pleased with that. And then for about 3 days, I was inadvertently part of the Gwen Stefani fan part of Twitter. And I think once they realised that my Twitter feed, you know, there's only so much Microsoft licensing that they wanted to see, and then I was quickly removed. But that was an interesting couple of days. I've never been just notifications and messages and retweets, and it
Did you
was
still find it?
it was quite exciting.
Yeah.
But I can see if that was your life, it would be really annoying. So say it was a little glimpse. And also Premier League winning footballer Christian Fuchs, who played for Leicester, follows me on Twitter as well for some reason.
You're just basically a Twitter celebrity. I'm gonna have to get on the app now and just follow you for the fame and glory.
Well, I used to love Twitter, but these days,
Mhm.
I mean, it was kind of going downhill a little bit anyway, and then yeah, it's not what it once was, shall we say?
I don't want to go down a tangent, but do you watch or did you watch Ted Lasso?
I did, yeah.
So I have a real love-hate in a very specific proportion, heavily weighted towards hate relationship with most social media. And I only still have a Facebook account because there's a lot of photos of me and my husband on there, a lot of memories of them, but they're backed up. And because I try and sell a few things on Marketplace, everywhere else has sort of died a death for local selling now. But what really summed it up was in Ted Lasso when they said, Facebook, isn't that just for grandparents and racists? It's, it's it just feels really accurate, to be honest. But yeah, I never really got into Twitter. I tried a few times, and I don't think the recent rebrand is making me rethink that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think I joined in like 2008, nine, something
Three
like
years
that.
ago.
So you know, but when there were about 57 people on there, it seems. So so yeah, it's been interesting. You know, when you look back, I'm sure in a few years there'll be a really interesting book
Mm.
written about, you know, the rise and fall of Twitter, and yeah, probably there's probably all kinds of behind the scenes stuff that will come out. But it's
Yeah.
interesting to see how something, you know, that's so integral to a lot of, you know, people and businesses as a way of communication. You know, only a few relatively small changes, and now, you know, you've got threads, and I,
Mm.
I guess LinkedIn is probably picking up a lot of traffic from it as well. But yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I haven't joined Threads. That I figured, yeah, Twitter at the time made a lot of sense. I enjoyed it, but I don't see the need for Threads now for me. I think I've just become a bit obsessed with LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn fan now.
Yep. Reluctantly, I'm there for it. Under duress, but still always there on in the background on a tab. You've got a meeting in 2 minutes, so my request is going to be that you were the winner of the last competition that we ran to win some SaaSy swag, and I have to demand a silly selfie of you wearing the swag.
Oh yeah, I've still not done that actually. Yeah, I will.
Priority list right there.
I will do that. I've got some time off coming up, so I'll
Good.
I'll do
Take it
it
on tour.
then.